What do you do when you lack motivation? When things you once loved become painful to get back to? When it's easier to make plans than execute them? Welcome back to The Power Is Mine. And today's episode is going to be how to power through being unmotivated. But today's episode is called Lazy and Undisciplined. I'm Zhanae, and let's get into it. So I've been dealing with this in my life kind of on and off a lot of the time, but most recently I feel like it's been something that's been bothering me. And sometimes I see that you can kind of have what feels like a fog over yourself. Like, you know what you want to do, you know what you want to accomplish, you're super excited about it one second, and the next second you just are so unmotivated. You feel like you can't possibly get back to it. The thing is so easy to do. Like, if we have to put like a time frame on it, it might be something that could get done in 10 to 30 minutes, but it takes you 3 months to get it done. And honestly, I think sometimes that hits because it's hard to explain. It's like I can know exactly where I want to go in life, but it's out of my comfort zone to get there. And who I want to become is out of my comfort zone, and I'm still becoming her. And I'm still creating the foundation for what life I want to live. But oddly enough, no matter how bad I want it, it's like it just feels more comfortable and safe to not work towards it at times. Like, I've hit the point of no return to where I've been working on this thing for so long. And to some people, it might seem like it's not that long. Like, literally, you're only 25. By the way, happy birthday to me! But for me, I've been working on this thing for a long time. I've invested money, time, effort, blood, sweat, and tears. I've taken chances on stuff. I've done things that others wouldn't do to try to get to where I am today. And I'm finally feeling like I'm reaping some of the benefits, or I'm seeing the fruits of my labor. Everything is coming together and I'm building that foundation. But the one thing about building the foundation is that no matter how far you had to come to get to have a decent foundation, now you have to go so much further to maintain or to build it up to the point where you want to be. And in life, you don't want to just maintain. You don't want to just be lackadaisy about your goals and experiences and learning. You want to get to the next level, and you want to go to the highest level if you possibly can. So at the end of the day, creating an atmosphere for yourself to succeed and cultivating the tools to be able to grow and learn and just kind of experience life in a different way than what maybe others in your surroundings would have, or people in your family would have. You know, if everybody could do it, they would have done it. If it was something easy to do, it would just get done. But when it's not easy, when it's something that is uncharted waters, it's going to be difficult. It's going to take some self-reflection. It's going to take some learning and some discomfort, because you have to hit a point where you can keep going even when you don't feel like it. And that is probably one of the most difficult things to do, especially when you don't really have your why developed. And when I say like not having your why developed, I mean like you don't have a strong burning sensation or a burning goal within your mind that's like, I need to do it for this. For me, that thing was my mom. And I no longer have my mom, so I do know that I've been experiencing trying to grow into who I am as a woman, trying to figure out what my why really is, trying to see what are things that I really want. What is it about me that I find special, that I can cultivate, that I can share with the world, that I can make the world a better place by going so deep into me that I can love myself so much, I can understand myself, I can appreciate myself, and then become something great for everyone else as a consequence of me learning myself. And the first point I wanted to come to is, are you lazy or are you scared? Because sometimes I'll be kind of beating myself up. And I've said it before that you don't want to bully yourself into greatness, because then once you hit that point of success, then you just feel super shitty about yourself, or you feel like, oh, it's just kind of, it's nothing, you know? And I know a lot of great people. I know people who have accomplished great things. But when you have such a big goal, and that big goal has been a part of your life for so long, or the goal you have is to please a parent, right? Like me. When that thing is taken away from you, or when you finally achieve that big goal, sometimes you have that kind of foggy grayness within your mind of just like, what do I do now? Who am I? What am I outside of what I was trying to do to make my mother happy, you know? So when you're having that fog and you can't really figure out where you're at with that, you have to start doing some deep reflection. And my deep reflection lately has been asking myself, with me losing my why, I do understand that that's been a little bit of a contributor to my procrastination, or to my feeling like, okay, now I can just do it for me. But if I'm just doing it for me, that means I could take my time. And if I take my time, that means there's no sense of urgency at times. And if there's no sense of urgency, then I don't want to look up one day and be like, I allowed my life to pass me by. Because for the most part, since I was literally a kid, I've always said, I want my life to be in my own hands. The first time I remember actually saying that to my mother, I was 7 years old. And I decided that there were some things I just did not want to pursue, because I wanted my life to be in my own hands. I don't want people to feel like they have the power or control over me, or they could take advantage of me because I was lacking in understanding, or I was too young, or just, you know, just different stuff like that, right? So because I wanted to take things into my own hands, I decided that I was going to do it at my own pace. But still, a burning desire in the back of my mind was, I want to make my mother proud. So because I've lost that motivation, it's been feeling kind of like foggy for me. And I'm asking myself, am I lazy? Or, you know, I'm hard on myself. I'll be beating myself up a little bit. I'll be like, why can't you just get this done? This thing will not take that long to get done. Or I'm telling myself, oh, be kind to yourself, be gentle with yourself, take a little bit time, you have time. And then it takes me 3 months to get something that could have gotten done in 30 minutes, which is beyond embarrassing, right? But sometimes you have to ask yourself, is it not laziness or lack of motivation, but are you scared? Because reflecting for myself, I've hit a point at some times of realizing that it's difficult and it's lonely to pursue a path that nobody else in your surrounding areas or circles has pursued. To try to go for something that seems wildly unrealistic to the masses is a very lonely and scary pursuit. And sometimes we resonate so much with the negative things that have been cast upon us, or what is in our environment, that we're surrounded by crabs in a barrel, or we're surrounded by people that, even if they don't want to purposefully discourage you from your goals, they just don't believe it's fact. See, I remember hearing in an interview at one point in time, Jay-Z said something, I think about like an uncle, and it said, there's no way possible you can sell 1,000 records or 1,000,000 records or something. And then Jay-Z said, well, I've sold 1,000,000 records 1,000,000 times. Not sure about the numbers, but if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. So sometimes somebody isn't willingly trying to put down your goals or your intentions. It just isn't possible to them. They don't see it for that. And that's why sometimes you have to be so honest with yourself and say, are the limiting beliefs you have ones that were cast upon you? Or are you just too scared of all the hard work that it's going to take, all the sleepless nights that it's going to take, the loneliness that you're going to feel, the lack of support that you're going to get? It's scary. And it's easier to just stay doing what everybody else is doing. It's easier to just pretend to not be as smart because other people will make fun of you or won't want to associate with you because you feel like you're better than them, or you feel like you're too good for something. You don't want to spend time going out all the time, or you don't want to do things that other people would see appealing. But if you have your intentions and your goals set in your mind, you need to be so ridiculously focused on it That no matter if sometimes you take a little setback, you procrastinate a little bit, you keep jumping back on your track. You keep getting back to it because you know that only you can get you to where you want to go. The goals that I have in my life, I've come to realize nobody can just give them to me. And honestly, you don't really want to just be given anything. You don't want anything to just fall into your lap because then you don't know how to cherish it. You're going to treat something that costs $10 a lot different than you would treat something that costs you $1,000. Let's be real, right? Something that was easy to get, you're not going to cherish it as much. Something that didn't take time to cultivate, you're not going to cherish it as much. So I've come to realize a little while ago that I probably could be just past opportunities, or I could be just given something under whatever pretenses, but I don't want it like that. I want to work hard for it. I don't want to make it unnecessarily hard for myself, but I do want to make sure that when I get to where I'm going and when I get what I need to get, nobody can take it from me. Point blank, period. Right? So in that pursuit, it's always good to have a very strong why. And sometimes it might take you a while to find your why. For so long, I was focused on, I just want to make my mother proud. And this is the story that is a common thread within the African American community. Or I hear NFL players say it. I hear basketball players say it. I hear rappers say it. Just whatever. We want to make our mothers proud because we have whatever family dynamics in our community, or we just know that our moms put in so much work to make us be who we need to be, to become educated, to become a star athlete, to become a decent person within society. But when you lose that, or when you no longer have that, or when you realize you have to live life for yourself, you have to motivate yourself, then what are you going to do? Things get a little gray. Things get a little foggy, right? So it's okay to want to have motivation outside of yourself, but I'm having to try to rely on, I want to make little me proud. I want to make sure that I'm focused on, would little me be proud of me today? Would little me look at me today and be like, wow, you're a badass, So within all of that, you have to keep fighting for the future that you want. Nothing that is worthwhile comes easy. Nothing that is worthwhile comes overnight. And a lot of the people that we look at as overnight successes, when you look at the backstory, unless it's just somebody who just popped up and you can't find no trace of them, they just popped up in 2024 and now they just lit. They just already had whatever. I mean, it's possible, but the people that you can backtrack how long they've been grinding and working, it starts to become more apparent to you that overnight success is like 10 or 15 years. And that's why I would bring up to a lot of people that I started my social media in 2015. We're now in 2025, right? So that's 10 years of being on social media. That's 10 years of me growing. That's 10 years of me having this amount of followers and then losing them. Me trying to find my audience. Me growing as a woman. Me doing this or doing that and be like, no, I don't want to do that no more. No, I don't want to be known for that no more. Just different stuff like that, right? But now I'm feeling like I'm coming into myself as a woman. I'm growing as a person. And I'm finally getting an understanding of who I really am and what I mean to me. How important I am to me, how much I love me, how much I want to cherish me and cultivate me, right? So with all of my growth that I've done, with all of my insecurities that I've had, with all of my setbacks, with everything under the sun, I've had to remind myself that it's okay to doubt myself, but I have to keep picking myself back up. And one thing that I want to tell y'all is that no matter what self-doubts you're going through right now, you are not the only one in the world that is doubting yourself. You're not even the only one in your neighborhood that's doubting yourself. People wake up every day and they live a life that they might not love, they might not care for, they might be unhappy, and everybody deals with their misery or their frustrations differently. Sometimes misery loves company, sometimes misery loves solitude. And sometimes misery loves progress. And I like to think that my misery loved progress because I said that I wanted to try to become the change that I needed. And when I ended up discovering people like Jay Shetty, or I ended up discovering people like Cody Sanchez, or who is another person? Layla Hormozy or Alex Hormozy, or just, different motivational people. I grew up with a lot of poetry and stuff like that, and reading and trying to educate and different things like that. You end up realizing that you can turn your pain into passion, and you can turn your passion into progress. You can push the needle for the world in a different area or whatever, because you decided, I'm going to do something with this pain. I'm not going to let my misery love company, and I'm not going to try to bring everybody down because I'm down. I'm going to try to see, can I cultivate a community that needs that motivation, that needs that help, that needs that guidance. And even if things are a little bit messy for me, let me see what I can try to do to help the next person in the meantime. Let me try to see what I can grow, right? And I am far, very far from perfect. Very far. Very far. Okay? Let's get that out there. I'm not somebody that wants to come off as judgmental. I'm not somebody that wants to come off as I'm better than. But half the time, I've come to realize a person's going to feel about you whatever they want to feel about you, and that's not your business, and you cannot control that. So no matter what my intention is, y'all going to take it for what y'all take it for. I know what I'm trying to do. I hope that whoever can see me for who I am and what I am trying to do, even when I do fall short, can appreciate it. But understand that you're not the only person that is doubting yourself. It's okay to be hard on yourself. It's okay to demand progress. It's okay to demand excellence out of yourself. But you are not the only person doubting yourself. There's somebody else out there that is going through the exact same thing that you're going through. And you know what helps that? Google. You know what helps that? YouTube. You know what helps that? Opening up your mouth and asking, hey, can you help me out with this? Hey, what have you been through? Hey, trying to cultivate a community. And it gets messy sometimes. It's not easy. Sometimes people will look at you like you're stupid. Sometimes people will be like, damn, she tells her business too much. Sometimes people will feel like, who does she think she is? She's a fake influencer. She's a da-da-da-da. They got everything under the sun to say. But one thing that's also going to be is you need to not focus on what you think people are talking about you. Because half the time, they're not even saying any of it to your face. The only time when people really start getting bold enough to talk about you to your face for real, is either when they're just extremely miserable and unhappy and bitter with their life, or when you become so excellent that they just want to try their best to tear you down. And at that point, there's a reason why they're talking about you. And if you ain't got haters, if you ain't got people who disagree with you a little bit, you playing it too safe. You playing it too close to the chest, right? So you need to get on your grind. You need to get on your passion. You need to get on the path that you need to be going on. And when you do that, you're going to alienate some people. And that's your intention. Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. We all love the instant gratification. I hate seeing that people might have unfollowed me, or that people aren't liking a post, or that people aren't commenting on a post or whatever. But at the end of the day, you want damn near every post that you make to start to alienate somebody. You want your audience to be exactly who you want them to be. You don't want people just being like, oh, she just here. She just plays safe. She's just here. Right? So no matter what, your growth is going to be found in discomfort. And it's going to be found in being true to yourself, being very, very honest to yourself, being like, hey, I don't want to say call yourself a piece of shit, but be like, hey, I'm full of shit. I procrastinate too much. I need to get up and I need to make something happen. My life is where it's at right now, not because of the next person, but it's where it's at right now because of me. After a certain point, you can no longer blame your environment. After a certain point, you can no longer blame your family. After a certain point, you can no longer blame the short end of the stick you got or the people you was around, because it's up to you to create a different life for yourself. It's nobody else's decision. It's nobody else's responsibility. And quite frankly, people don't give a damn. This world is big. It's full of a lot of people, and everybody has struggles. Everybody has stresses. And most of the time, people are going through a silent battle you would never know, and they may never tell you. So don't ever think that you are the only one going through it. You're the only one doubting yourself. You're the only one who believes that you can't do it or it's hard to accomplish the goal. But guess what? If it's worth something, it's going to be hard. And in life, if you don't change it, you choose it. You can't make up no other excuses. I'm going to say it again. If you don't change it, you choose it. If you actively recognize that you have something within your life that you could be doing better or that you can learn, you could put your energy towards something more, what is the word? Just more good for you. That's the only word that comes to my mind. But you could put your energy towards something better. You're choosing it. If you feel like you want to lose weight, don't just keep complaining about not losing weight. Choose to get some discipline. Choose to do something small every day till it gets bigger. Try 10 minutes a day in the gym. Try 10 squats until you can get up to 20, until you can get up to 30. And then one day, 100 squats feels like nothing to you. Everybody always acknowledges how strong I am and how I can do pull-ups, how I could do this, I could do that. But people don't even realize before I ever started any type of pole dance, I couldn't do one pull-up. And nobody ever believes me, but it's the truth. But I found joy in pole dancing. I found passion in pole dancing. And now you wouldn't believe that this same person could once not even do one good pull-up, right? So when you want to grow, when you want to change, you have to decide that you want to change. It's nobody else's decision but yours. And you can put things off up to a certain point, but sometimes you have to ask yourself, what is the underlying issue? Why do you keep putting this thing off? Even if it's good for you, even if it's not that hard, why are you putting it off? Because I would like to say that now I'm starting to realize that procrastination is a little bit of an indicator. Are you letting your self-limiting beliefs hold you back? Are you scared of the unknown of how great your life could become? Or are you scared of how much hard work you're going to have to put in, of all the sacrifice that you're going to have to put in to become exactly who you want to be? What is your procrastination indicating about your life and your struggles? What are you running from? We like to, because I used to identify as a perfectionist, right? And it was a point in time where I had to realize I have good attention to detail, but identifying as a perfectionist sometimes is just another way to just say, yeah, I'm a procrastinator. And I try to hope for the ideal situation and the ideal connections or the ideal conditions before I decide to finally do something. Sometimes you just have to strike while the iron is hot. Sometimes you have to be willing to fail and willing to look dumb and willing to look like a beginner so that you could get to where you need to go. If I wasn't willing to take off running and crash into whatever I needed to crash into in the meantime, of course, without hurting anybody, without bringing detriment to anyone else's situation, then I wouldn't have experienced the growth that I've experienced today. I wouldn't be the person I am today. And I'm honestly grateful for that. And as you grow in life, your risk tolerance gets a lot lower. So no matter what age you are right now, I need you to get up and I need you to figure out what it is that you need to do, what it is that you could be doing to make your life better and start actively pursuing that. For me, I use lists and I use notes and different stuff like that to try to keep myself on track because it's easy to fall off. But honestly, the way that you fall off is you choose to fall off. You can't get down in the pits for too long and just become your life and you just choose that. No, get up, make something happen, make something shake, and empower yourself. You have to learn how to power through that fog of, oh my God, I'm so sad. I'm so depressed. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be this person. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not strong enough. And turn that around. Start telling yourself the world is working in my favor. Any money that I spend comes back to me tenfold. I am strong. I am beautiful. I am powerful. I am encouraged. I am disciplined enough to do it even when I don't feel like doing it. I am intelligent enough to find the resources that I need to find. Start building your community of what you need, not in a sense of using people, but in a sense of support. Find people that can support you. And sometimes if you can't find people that support you, support yourself. Lean into God. Start following some better motivational stuff. Stop watching negative stuff all the time. Create the conditions for the life you want to live. And then you'll be able to answer yourself. Are you lazy and undisciplined? Or did you just need to do the right things to get to where you need to go? Talk to y'all later. Love y'all.